Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan. I'm a former Royal Marines Commando from the United Kingdom. Today we've got an update on Ukraine. There's quite a bit of things happening since the last time we did an update. We're going to go all the way back to the first of the month and see what's going on the map, guys, and a few news articles. If you're new here, thanks for supporting the channel, guys. I really do appreciate it. And if you've been here a while, guys, I appreciate you being here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please smash that subscribe button, like, share, and drop a comment for the algorithm. But other than that, guys, enjoy your time here. I'll see you guys in the comments. Okay, guys, so here we are. And I've dated it the 30th of January 2023. The reason being is we were talking about this not so long ago about the potential lines of attack for Russia and the potential defense lines for Ukraine, and whether or not they can capitalize on their situations to dictate what happens on the battle space. Okay, I predicted that, you know, Bakhmut was possibly going to be surrounded, all right, and it looks like it's potentially going that way. Okay, troops, now we understand the meat grinder situation in Bakhmut. It's going to be fierce fighting. It is fierce fighting, but let's just say you threw a few battalions worth of strength in there. What's going to happen is everyone's just going to get slaughtered, all right, on both sides. So is it productive for both sides to do full frontal attacks within this region here? Possibly not, troops, okay? So what seems to me is what's happening is Russia is trying to play the long game by surrounding the areas, taking out all lines of communication, north, south, and eastward, and allowing them, you know, one route only, which is easy pickings when you think about how they're going to retreat out of that situation. And by retreat, I mean, you know, if Ukraine, who's defending the Bakhmut area, needs supplies, need munitions, food, water, medical supplies, all of that good stuff, okay, they're going to have to come out of this place anyway. So let's have a little bit of a zoom in and a look what's going on the front lines over there, guys. So as you can tell, 30th of January, and I'm just going to slow time it. You can see the lines of advance creeping in slowly but surely for Russia, which is bad for Ukraine, obviously, all the way up to the mid February. We can see that those lines are changing ever so slightly, but they are encroaching in and around Bakhmut. We can see the northern part of this area is the northern part is key, actually, guys, because they've taken out this main road system here, as dictated by that little hand symbol there. And if we keep on going through February, we can see that the northern flank is getting pushed up until the current state of affairs now, where effectively, not pretty much, effectively, northern part of Bakhmut is surrounded. East is well and truly being surrounded for a number of months now. We've got, you know, Russia encroaching this eastward part of Bakhmut and certainly dominating south area. The only real areas I would say is a little bit safe to pass through is Ivanivsk. But if Russia manages to take this area here, then we really have got problems, troops, okay, for Ukraine. I don't really know what the way out is for this. It's a lot of land that they're covering. They're covering a lot of key strategic areas as well, okay? A lot of these areas, these little settlements that are now dominated by Russia, is going to play a major part in that, okay? It doesn't matter how many people are defending Bakhmut. You know, it only takes a heavy bombardment of artillery strikes to be able to absolutely devastate this area. But I would think the key for this is Ivanivsk. And do I see Ukraine being able to hold out too much longer? Well, if Russia pushes northward of this open field here, you can see there's nothing but fields here, guys. If they push forward to there, take this, then they've pretty much surrounded Bakhmut, leaving no real route out other than this slightly northern road system, Kromov. But it looks as if Russia's trying to push towards that as well, troops, which is quite devastating. So with that being said, in terms of the map study, guys, what's going on the ground, we can only make our own opinions up based on, you know, my limited experience in the Royal Marines. But let's see what the Institute of Study of War has to say on the matter. They're the experts, and they're pretty much my point of reference for this whole war, guys. So let's get straight into it. There we go. Let me position this so you can see it a bit better. There. All right then, so this is up to date as of today's date, actually, troops, so pretty accurate. Right, first main title, Russian forces appear to have secured a sufficient position advantage to conduct a turning movement against certain parts of Bakhmut, but have not yet forced Ukraine forces to withdraw and will likely not be able to encircle the city soon. Now, this is the bit that I'm not really... I'm not going to say that, but I agree with that. Okay, the rate in which Russia has been progressing in terms of the encirclement, it's they're making slow but steady gains. In another month's time, if they make the same amount of gains within the next 4 weeks, I don't see why they wouldn't have completely encircled. You've got to understand how it works in terms of strength, strength of not just numbers but positions as well. If you hold 3 of the dominant positions on a position, you are the dominant force within that area, okay? And at this moment in time, they hold the north, south and east flank dominantly, and the westward flank is the only really route out for Ukraine, and even that is being encroached upon, as we've seen in the map study earlier, by Russia. So it's going to be pretty tough for Ukraine to do anything on that, although I do take Institute of Study of War's words pretty seriously. They say it's not going to be encircled anytime soon. I don't know. The same progression, I'm giving it another month max. But Russian forces made one limited confirmed advance near Bakhmut on March the 4th. An ISW report on March the 3rd, Ukrainian forces are likely setting conditions for a controlled fighting withdrawal out of particularly difficult sectors in eastern Bakhmut, although it is not clear that Ukrainian commanders have decided to withdraw at this time. Now, it's probably within the best interest for them to seriously consider tactical withdrawal from the eastern areas of Bakhmut, because what's the point of putting your forces in there for, certain death? If you think about it logically, unless you can bring something else to the party, bring a completely different element to the party to be able to take out, at the very least, the northern and southern flanks, because they're controlled by Russian forces, you've got 3 main areas of attack that you have to defend from. Very, 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 very difficult. So tactical withdrawal from the area, allowing Russia to potentially take Bakhmut, is better than losing manpower. And you're fit to fight another day. I know war is difficult and the tactics can change depending on what the circumstances are. But the way I see it, what's the point of utilising a position to defend to inevitably just lose life? It just doesn't seem a sensible way to utilise your manpower troops, okay? But that's just my opinion. Now, Russian sources claim that Wagner Group elements have made gains in northeastern and eastern Bakhmut over the past few days, creating a tactically challenging turning movement in urban areas in northern Bakhmut. This is a hard area to fight in anyway, troops, okay? This area is, you got to think about the weather as well at this time of year. Very, very tough operating ground to fight among, all right? And you think about the guys who are in Bakhmut. Normally, all right, when you're defending a position such as Bakhmut and this type of war, those guys aren't going on holidays anytime soon. If you're there defending the positions, you're pretty much there defending until you're either dead or, getting some positive feedback and taking over the area, okay? Hasn't been happening for Ukraine. That area's been, really, really hard war fighting. It's been really hard for them to progress in any way, shape or form. So the guys that have been there, probably been there months and months and months, okay, with the odd guy getting changed out, probably through injury or anything like that. But you're certainly not, hey, can I go on leave for a bit? It doesn't happen, all right? It doesn't happen like you think it happens anyway. Not in this situation anyway. Now, Ukrainian officials have recently reiterated that Ukrainian forces still control the situation in Bakhmut, but have noted that circumstances are increasingly complicated and that the Wagner Group has committed its most advanced and prepared elements to assault operations in the area. That's going to be pretty difficult for Ukraine to contend with. The standard of personnel we've seen over the past few months in and around Bakhmut has been poor for the Russian side, but they've been holding ground, all right? They've been give and take, tippity-tap, back and forth, but you put any decent soldier within that area, fighting against, the Ukrainians who've been there for a long time, defending these almost impossible circumstances, you're going to see a bit more traction, okay? So, again, do I think Ukraine should bolster that up with putting their better soldiers within that area? Not necessarily. You know, it only takes one artillery strike to take that manpower out there, okay? So it's going to be very, very difficult. I honestly see a tactical withdrawal coming very soon. It makes logical sense for me, and then just absolutely hammer the positions in Bakhmut. But one thing's for sure that we can definitely understand. Once this war's over, Bakhmut is going to be absolutely decimated. It's not going to be worthy of being called a city anymore. That's going to take years and years to rebuild, reoccupy, rehome. All the memories there of the love of people, loved ones, families and stuff is absolutely destroyed. So what a waste, guys, what a waste. Now, Russian advances in Bakhmut have now been slow and gradual, and do not suggest that Russian forces will be able to encircle Bakhmut soon. I don't know where I stand on that. I'm going with soon. 3-4 weeks potentially we might see an encirclement, a full encirclement, give or take, but that's just my opinion. You've heard it here first. Much less that they will be able to take the city by frontal assaults. The Russians have rather managed to push close enough to critical ground lines of communication from the northeast to threaten Ukraine withdrawal routes in a classical turning movement. The purpose of a turning movement is to force the enemy to abandon prepared defensive positions and is different from the aim of an encirclement. Okay, this is new to me, which is to trap and destroy enemy forces. Okay, so this is going to potentially strike a little bit of fear into some of the Ukrainians. And this is my reason. What they're saying is here is they're not just trying to encircle them and offer them the opportunity to get the hell out of there, which we have seen in, the very first counteroffensive in the northern and eastern areas of Ukraine. What we are seeing here is a change in tact on the Russian side. Is they don't just want to let them forcibly push them out of a certain area, i.e. the west. They want to, encircle but entrap them with this movement, which is basically to trap and destroy the enemy forces. So they don't want to let them free passage to be able to then redefend and resupply and fight for another day. They want to be able to encircle these guys with this turning movement, keep them where they're at, and then unfortunately destroy them. So what they're doing is trying to take a lot of manpower off the battle space, which is typical of Russia. Maybe Ukraine should have thought about that and done the same thing in the original counteroffensive. We did see that they almost allowed them free passage to get the hell out of there in the original counteroffensive many, many months ago. Probably is a mistake now because Russia's not allowing the same rite of passage, so to speak, out of this area. So pretty daunting times, guys. It's pretty horrible. The Russians may have intended to encircle Ukraine forces in Bakhmut, but the Ukrainian command has signaled that it is likely withdraw rather than risk an encirclement. I think Ukraine will definitely seek that instead of, putting their troops at risk. On an ethical, on a moral stance, Ukraine is going to do the right thing. I know they are. ISW assesses that Ukraine forces are far more likely to withdraw than become encircled. I agree. And that the Ukrainians might still be able to hold their positions in Bakhmut if they choose to try. Russian forces have been suffering high casualties in these advances, and Ukrainian commanders' assessments of the likelihood that they can force Russian attacks to accumulate near and behind their current positions, balanced against the risk of losing access to essential withdrawal routes, will likely guide the Ukrainian decision to stay or pull back. Troops. A lot is happening in Bakhmut. Again, I don't really pay too much attention, believe it or not, to the news, because I like to be able to react authentically to the information coming in as I'm reading it to you guys and come to an instant decision on what I think's going on the ground. I think it allows for a better response and a better video. So what I'm saying at this moment in time, by not watching the news and by not doing updates as regular, is that the slow and steady pace of Russia is actually allowing them to slowly but steadily take land and slowly but steadily encircle Bakhmut, which I was predicting was going to happen months ago, just off looking at the map, and it's actually happening now. So, the little things that happen on a day-to-day basis can't be missed, because those little things build up a bigger battle picture over the next 30, 60, 90 days, and that's why I'm saying, of what I've seen over the past month, if that continues over the next month, then, you know, Ukraine is likely going to be encircled fully in Bakhmut. So the troops need to get the hell out of there, really, okay? When it takes one massive artillery barrage, once they're completely encircled, to wipe out entire battalion strengths of men. So we need to get them out there, potentially live to fight another day and push them off the flank in a different way. But that will be a very, very different battle indeed. Retaking Bakhmut, going to be difficult, guys. There's going to be nothing left of Bakhmut by the time this whole thing's over anyway, which is an absolute crying shame, okay? But troops, thank you for being here. Short and sweet update today. If you want to support me further, see ad-free uncensored content, the link is in the description for our Patreon. I really do need you guys to support me there. It's basically how I get by, so I really do appreciate all of the support there. I'm going to try and put a few videos out on there this month. Again, the ad-free uncensored ones that I can't put on YouTube will go there. So I'm going to try and get a few out this month on there, troops. Got some really, really good news coming in the next week or two. I can't wait to share it with you guys. It's going to be a completely new direction for the channel, and I'm so excited. All right, I've been wanting to do this potential opportunity for a long, long time. So I look forward to letting you know. Drop a comment below what you think that opportunity may be. Other than that, guys, wherever you are, stay safe. Take it easy. Peace.